This is Vibe Trading, an open source finance research agent, 30,000 stars, 4 months old, and the top entry in its changelog is dated today. It calls itself a personal trading agent, one command to give your agent full trading capabilities. GitHub made it repository of the day. The features read like a research desk, natural language market research, multi-agent analyst teams, cross-market data, and backtesting. And this is what it says you can do. Ask a trading question, backtest an idea, run a team of analysts, bench 462 alphas. It also ships an MCP server, so I pointed Claude Code at it and drove all of it from a prompt. Here is the whole setup. One line registers the library as an MCP server. That is the standard way to hand a set of tools to Claude Code. Then you ask Claude Code what it can see. Connected. 55 tools. Market data, backtests, analyst teams, filings, all of it now in the same session as the model. And notice what I did not do. I never gave it an API key. Run on its own, the library wants a model configured in a hidden dot file. Driven this way, it does not need one. A Claude Code is the brain, the library is the hands. So I just talked to it. The first thing I typed is the simplest question you can ask a finance tool. Find the ticker for Coinbase. No wrapper code, no API documentation, no keys. One sentence typed into the session I was already working in. It resolves the name and comes back with the Class A listing and the company's SEC filing number underneath it. Then it volunteers something I did not ask for. Everything else matching the word Coinbase is a derivative product tracking the company, not the company itself. That turns out to be the tone of the whole thing. It answers, and then it tells you what the answer does not cover. Next, real data. Pull BTC-USDT daily bars for the last week from OKX. Same interface, same sentence-shaped ask, except now it is reaching a live exchange instead of a reference table. 6 rows come back, straight out of the exchange, opens, highs, lows, closes, and volume, and then it argues with its own output. The timestamps land on a UTC plus 8 boundary, so it says so instead of quietly relabeling them. And there are 6 bars, not 7, because today's session has not closed yet. Nobody prompted either of those. It fetched the data and then told me how to read it. Then I stopped asking for data and asked for a strategy, not one I wrote. I described it in a sentence. A moving average crossover. Hold when the 20-day average is above the 50, otherwise sit in cash. $10,000. OKX daily bars 2.5 years. And write the config and the signal engine yourself, then run it with the library's backtest tool. So it writes them, and on the way, it works out something about the engine on its own. The engine shifts signals by 1 bar internally. So the code it emits fills on the next open, not on the close it just looked at. Then it writes the run directory. That is the split worth watching. The model is writing a strategy into a file that something else is going to execute. And this is what comes back. A results table, scored against a buy and hold benchmark. And above it, the artifacts, a run directory, the config it used, the signal engine it wrote, with the parameters right there in the line. Every number on that table is reproducible from that folder. You can open it, read the code, change one thing, and run it again. That is the difference between a chatbot telling you a return and a research tool showing you its work. Once one run exists, the interesting move is comparison. So, in a single prompt, 3 variants, same asset, same window, same $10,000. Just hold BTC. Hold it only while it is above its 200-day average. Then the same thing with a 50-day average. 1 prompt, 3 fresh run directories, 3 separate engine runs, 1 table. Final value, total return, Sharpe, max drawdown, and trade count, side by side. And the 2 filters land in completely different places from each other. What you conclude from that is your business, and it depends entirely on settings I will come back to. The point is, the cost of asking. Setting up a 3-way comparison took 1 sentence, and all 3 runs are sitting on disk afterwards for you to pick apart. Then, the part I did not expect to find in a free tool, write an RSI mean reversion strategy for ETH and backtest it, and then validate that result with 1,000 Monte Carlo simulations. That second half is the unusual ask. I am not asking it for a number, I am asking it to go and test the number it is about to hand me. So it runs the strategy, then tests the result. 1,000 simulations, a fixed seed so you can reproduce the exact run, a p-value out the end, and then it explains what that test measures, which is the bit I want you to see. It shuffles the order of the trades that already happened, so every reshuffle holds the same 6 trades and carries an identical total return. It is testing sequencing, not edge. That is a tool handing you a number and, in the same breath, telling you the size of the question it answers. The last thing I ran is the biggest one. It ships pre-built analyst teams, not one agent, a whole desk. So run the crypto trading desk on BTC, swing horizon 1 to 2 weeks. It goes and finds the preset, checks that the horizon I asked for is one this desk actually supports, and starts it. One line in, and 4 agents are now running. And then it does the thing I most wanted to show you. The run blows straight past the 2-minute foreground window. So instead of hanging there, it moves the whole job to a background task and tells you the shape of what is running. 3 analysts in parallel: funding and basis, liquidations and microstructure, and on-chain flow. Then a risk manager that waits for all 3 before it writes anything. That is a dependency graph executing asynchronously, described back to you in one sentence. And you get your session back while it works. 4.5 minutes later, it comes back on its own. 4 tasks, all 4 finished, and a desk plan on the other side of it. I want to be exact about what I am showing you here. This is the mechanism working. A team of agents, a dependency graph, and a plan that comes out the end while you are doing something else. Read the plan yourself before you act on any of it. And that is true of every tool in this category, not just this one. So that is the tour. A 4-month-old open source research desk driven end to end from a prompt. It resolves tickers, pulls live exchange data, writes strategies and runs them, sets up comparisons for the price of one sentence, tests its own results against noise, and runs a team of agents in the background while you go and do something else. It is free, it is MIT licensed, and every artifact lands on your disk. 2 things before you trust a number out of it. Read the defaults for the engine you are on and check whether the figure behind a claim was fetched or asserted. Then go and run it tonight. The repo is linked below. It is free and it is worth an evening. If you want more of these, subscribe.